Do you ever go through something and you're just like, wow, that whole thing was just royally freaking stupid? Like the whole thing just it boiled down to like absolute fucking stupidity. Like it never should have even goddamn happened. Like in all honesty. Um yeah, that kind of happened. So, we just recently put in a whole thing about the Atlanta race. There's been a little bit that's kind of been going on since all that stuff started, and the fixed racing league has been absolutely awesome, but some things have happened. Um, some of it my own doing, quite a bit of it not. And I'm going to get into all this now so that way I can tell everybody I don't know what's going to happen um, with YouTube and everything. I mean, when we first started this whole thing, it was every great once in a while we were doing something and we were having fun with it. And then it kind of turned into a potential job, and we were trying to make all that work. And then it turned into branching out and working with other people, doing everything we could, making money, having a good time on top of everything that was going on at the vet clinic. I was busy trying to grow my family, get married, and everything like that. We created a whole other channel, becoming the Tuttles, that turned into the Tuttles, and all of that. Um, when we got married last year, and we kind of we were working in that direction on a lot of things. Um, in that time, things have kind of gone on in the background that we haven't really discussed or anything like that, and I try to keep that to a bare minimum as to everything that's kind of gone on. Um, and I stopped completely altogether posting the stuff for becoming the Tuttles. Completely stopped it. I didn't want to. I thought it was going to be a fun, good project in order to get my hands on, and it ended up not happening. Um, to just bring my family in on it, and that ended up not happening at all. Um, we ended up spending a lot of money on the new rig that I have been on for a while now, since April, I think. Yeah, April, May. Um, and all while continuing to build my business, working at the vet clinic, doing everything that I possibly could in order to be able to make something happen. And yeah, then I joined Agent Inc. Racing, which was the endurance stuff. So you're seeing me do a lot of 24-hour races and 12-hour and all that stuff, and that was a lot of fun. I really did enjoy that, but I had noticed kind of my racing, because of things that were going on with my family and with my wife. She really wanted me to spend less time on the computer and more time with her. And I understand that, like with any relationship, obviously this is something that you kind of you have to figure out your boundaries. Um, and so I really gave in to everything that she wanted, so that way it would be good, and it kind of reduced down to one day I could do one racing one day a week. Couldn't really practice, couldn't really do anything, and then the 24-hour stuff I could actually devote to a lot of practicing with that in order to be able to do that. We did the 12 hours at Sebring, and we could have done a lot better, but it was my first time out, and I loved it. It was great. And then we started with the fixed racing league, and me joining the 4X team in order to be able to do all that. And Casey and all those guys were absolutely awesome. They were great. Um, but as we continued to race in the Fixed Racing League, one continuous issue kept popping up, and it was one particular driver. You can go back and you can watch every race that we've ever done because I've kind of recorded them all. We live streamed them, and then I would post them out on YouTube. Uh, and he was very arrogant. He never really drove around anybody with any kind of level of respect. He wrecked a lot of people, and he pissed a lot of people off. We got to the playoffs. A lot of our team did. I got in because somebody couldn't fulfill the obligation for making every race, which I wanted to make sure happened. So I made sure that I would become available. First race in, I was wrecked out at, I think it was, no, it wasn't Martinsville. I just completely got drilled into the inside wall, wrecked, and that was the end of our race. It was over. Nothing I could ever do would ever fix that. And it was pissing me off because it's like, this is ridiculous. First race in, and I'm out, and there's nothing I can do other than hurt some feelings. Going to the next race, did everything I could, had a really decent finish, but there was nothing that was going to happen. It wasn't going to help me. Admin's really, they're new to it, but yet when it came down to making sure that everybody's following the same rules, they really kind of had a hard time with that. They're all good guys. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, they're all pretty good guys. This driver really kind of, he liked to do things his way, and they were very disrespectful. So I guess let's get into it. So yeah. Yeah, here, we'll do this. Here we go. This is everything right here. I'm showing you really, here is me going out and doing my my qualifying. This is at Atlanta. This is the most recent race that y'all watched on the live stream. Okay. It's pretty good. Qualifying, did really well. We liked the car. Car was awesome. The rig, the most racing rig that we have been trying to work with, it's been an interesting experience trying to figure all that out. But I've gotten better. I've gotten a lot better every time that we've done this. We'll get into the race. We started like somewhere in the race. Now here we are. We are currently right here, lap 6. Okay. We're gonna give it a minute here. We're racing. I am on the high lane, and these are the leaders right here. I'm trying to deal with the leaders, right? This guy right here is an associate of our team. He does really well. This is the driver, the 24. He's the one that we kind of have always had an issue with. He's wrecked me numerous times, but I'm battling, trying to get up to the front, trying to make things work, see what I can come up with. Outside was really fast. Outside was really good. And we're just going to continue to do on that. And I'm starting to notice that we're starting to lose a little bit of ground because my line that I'm trying to work with is staying ahead of the 24. That was my whole thing. Now here we are. We're continuing to race on. This is early on in the race, but I'm battling. I'm trying to make something happen. I lost everyone behind me, and at this point, I'm doing something that is not fun. I was attempting to just kind of steal the draft off of him in order to be able to make it happen. Here we'll go far chase, and here you can kind of watch it. Here it happens. I go down a little bit. He kind of comes up to try to pinch me off, so I just come down a little bit, and I end up clipping him. Well, here, we'll just do it this way. Here, we'll do it this way. All right. So here it is. You can see he comes up, and there's a little bit of a gap. And then I am attempting to get a little bit tighter on him again. And there's a gap in between the cars. And I need to see if I can try to find a really good left front. Here we go. So here is that whole thing. Like, you can even see, like, really there was a gap the whole time. Like, we didn't actually touch until he was already spinning. It sucks. I am not a wrecking type person. I've never liked wrecking somebody, and it forced me to have to take my fast repair a lot earlier than I wanted, but that's it. I mean, just me attempting to try to do something in order to get into the lead is what resulted in it. That's where that's at. The rest of the race was actually pretty good. It was awesome, and then we were coming towards our last laps. Here we are, and we're just trying to make something happen with all of that. And so at this point, I've sustained enough damage with a lot of things that are going on that I've kind of let everything go. I know I'm not going to be that fast, so I just kind of let everybody just go. I'll take whatever position I can get. I had fun. I was battling all day long, and that was it. And we were trying to do a green white checkered, and we got there. Thank God. We had one attempt that we had already done, and people were already spinning and wrecking, and we were doing everything that we could to avoid everyone. And I'm slowing down, trying to avoid everybody, just avoiding everything that I possibly can. And I know that I have a lot of damage, but I'm trying to make it all work, right? Here is the 24 just ahead of the 16. I go to the outside of him, waiting to see what he's going to do. He kind of comes up like he's attempting to block me off, but I had enough speed, and I was able to get around him, and we took that position away from him, and it was kind of cool. At this point, I'm slowing down, just attempting to be able to make anything, and you can see the 24, he's coming in fast, hot, and heavy, and then he dumps me. And when everybody is sitting there and they're just like, what the hell just happened, I really kind of want to put this on him so you can see it. And this is inside of his in-car, okay? So you can see he's keeping it at 6,000 RPM because he can't do it anymore. He almost wrecks one car just to get up there. And then he slows down really heavily and then turns into me. So it was an intentional dumping, okay? Can we all be in agreement on that? I was actually slowing down, coasting, and he decided he was just going to do what he was going to want to do. At the end of all that, I went so far as I contacted the admins, and I told them, like, there's been intentional wrecking. The thing that everybody needs to understand, when it comes down to intentional wrecking, like, I am not at all about intentional wrecking. I've never been okay with it, and I never will be okay with it, and I want people to understand that this is not something that I will ever want to see. Anyone that intentionally dumps somebody, I have no respect for them, and I never will. He's wrecked us numerous times. There's a reason why I'm zoomed the way that I am, so you really can't see his name, because I'm not going to take anything where I'm calling this particular person out. He knows who he is. He kind of knows what's happened. Um, we I had a conversation with the head at the league owner about it, and I told him intentional wrecking. Not it doesn't matter if intentional wrecking is in your set of rules, whether or not that's allowed and what the punishment needs to be for that. iRacing alone doesn't allow it. It's actually a punishable offense. And I told him, if you're not going to remove him, because he was a playoff driver, but then again, so was I, and he made sure I got taken out so that way I wouldn't be able to do it. But that's not an argument I'm even going to get into anymore. I flat out told him, I'm going to, if you don't do something about it, I will, and you won't like it. This race was last week on Friday. I've withheld the video until now, so that way I can make sure that it's all good. So yeah, I waited until Sunday night because I knew that the admins were having a meeting after that race. And I waited, and I'm just like, so did he get banned? Because I saw that he was still in the Discord. And I'm like, did he get banned? And he goes, no, he didn't get banned. I'm like, well, what punishment did he get for intentional wrecking? And he has a history of it. Another issue that we have is that he was multiple laps down at a point, and this is the same man that you can actually go back and you can watch in the replays of every race that we've ever done, where he complains when multiple lap down cars are blocking the leaders and causing problems for the leaders, making it difficult for them to be able to pass. He hated that, and he was flat out doing it intentionally, trying to cause a wreck that resulted in one finally coming. He didn't get a penalty for that one either. I was becoming frustrated, and so the one thing I told him was, if you're not going to remove him, then I'm going to go to iRacing on it. Yes, this is a league, but when you're wrong, you're wrong. Plain and simple. So I filed a protest on it. I went to iRacing, I submitted multiple videos, and I said, here's the problem. iRacing saw it as a problem too. Not enough to completely remove him off the service, but enough that he got something happened to him. Let me see if I can pull it up here to see exactly what somebody had told me he got instead. He got... let me take a look here. He got reprimanded, is what he got. So basically, he was told, if this happens again, you're going to be removed. He didn't get a full-blown ban, but he got one step underneath of it, because iRacing does not approve of it. Now, normally, I would be all for league owners that are actively and proactively doing something about it, to be involved and to make sure that something happens that is to the betterment of the league as a whole. If you're not doing it for the league as a whole, and instead you're doing it just kind of to protect yourself, I really do have an issue with that, because at the end of the day, like, your whole job is, especially with it being a league that wanted to get involved with sponsorships and all that stuff, I wanted to make sure that we were all aware of things that are going on. So I filed the protest, and something had happened. I was at work one evening, and let's see if it'll, let me show you here. This is not it, but this is. There we go. Here we go. We'll do that. All right, so everybody can see it. We're all on the same page. Get asked, did I file a protest on him? Yeah. As you can see, I denied it. I was kind of at a point where it was like I knew that we were getting into some really scary stuff that was going on, because he really was throwing a lot of shade on a lot of people, and I did not like that. Um, and that's what it was. The admins, or the one admin talked to me. He didn't say, "Hey, I want to sit down and I want to have a conversation with you." None of that had happened. Um, yeah, and that's kind of what happened. At the end of it all, he said, because finally, I guess they finally figured out that it was in fact me, and he goes, "It had to be you, and the fact that you're trying to act like it wasn't is pretty immature." Um, yeah. Come on, come on. Here we go. Yeah. What? I mean, what can I say? I mean, you're literally like you have a driver who's even told you that he would file a complaint, and you guys just decide to blow him off. I mean, something needed to happen. Something was going to happen one way or another. Something was about to happen. Yeah, it goes. They had said it would have been better if you would have just owned up to it, and I wasn't even given an opportunity in order to be able to justify myself. They said that I should have contacted the driver, and handled it that way. I tried many times to deal with that situation. When you're dealing with somebody that always thinks that they're right and will never do wrong, you can't communicate with anybody like that, and I'm not okay with this. Um, and as a result, 4X Racing sat there and had decided that maybe it was better that we go separate ways. And then 5 minutes later, the league had said, "Yeah, we don't want you coming back if you're going to sit there and you're going to be protesting people." In hindsight, I could have easily been more upfront about it, but at that point, it was more like I was going to get attacked no matter what I did, and I was really getting tired of the things that were going on. Um, yeah, so it really kind of it threw a big monkey wrench into everything, and it kind of sucks. I don't know what all happened after all of that. Um, I mean, as far as I'm aware, he didn't get banned. He didn't even get a suspension, but I don't know what all really happened. Um, the conversation between me and him could never take place because he was uh, he was very dead set that he was just going to kind of do his own thing. And I'm not saying any of this to sit there go over and try to make the fixed racing league look bad. They're a good group of guys. It was a lot of fun racing with them, and I would gladly come back if they would ever have me. My issue that I always had was when you have drivers that are constantly breaking your rules and iRacing's rules, and your response is always, "Oh, well, we'll sit there and we'll just deal with it later." There's a problem with that. I have a major problem with it. I I liked all the guys, and I will always want to, keep things up and going on that. I'm just, yeah. I don't know what's going to happen because of YouTube. I don't. Um, this is not a video of me bashing the guy. I'm not bashing him. Um, I think he has a lot of maturing up that he needs to do. I think he needs to be a lot more respectful to drivers on the track. And definitely, if you're going to demand things be a certain way, you should be required to follow those same rules. Um, that's how I feel on it. I can't make anybody be a certain way, and I never will. Um, I've always raced clean. Now, when it comes down to protesting, because I know there's going to be a bunch of you that is going to look at this and they're going to go, "Oh, well, he protested in a league race." Well, when you're wrong, you're wrong. And if it would have been an issue where iRacing will never get involved in a protest against a league, especially an intentional wrecking case, then they would have done nothing. But the fact that they went and they did do something speaks a lot about what's been going on over there, and the fact that they did something, I appreciate what they did. After filing that protest, this is something that I'll tell anybody, I guess, with this being my first official protest that I ever put on anyone ever, and it resulted on me being kicked off of one team and removal from a league. I would probably put out a warning whenever anybody is doing a protest of any kind. Be careful of retaliation, because it will happen. This is not a poor, pitiful me or anything like that. I've kind of hit that point where I'm burned out with a lot of things that are going on. I'm not selling my rig, and I'm not going to give up on racing. I fully plan on continuing that. I'm thinking maybe we're going to venture a little bit and try some other things, but for the meantime, I think I'm going to take a break from YouTube for a while. This whole incident kind of really rubbed me the wrong way, and I own my part. I could have easily came clean on it that yes, I protested the guy. In all honesty, looking at everything that was going on, especially in that situation, I was going to get removed no matter what I said. So it was just more like that, hindsight is always 20/20. But yeah, just let this be a lesson to everybody that if you're going to protest somebody, just be careful. Retaliation will happen. If you're one of these people that thinks that, taking somebody out because you feel like, oh, I don't like the fact that this guy got into a wreck with me earlier, if you think that that's okay, it's not. There's a reason why there's a protest system on that, and we need to make sure that that is dealt with. Yeah, I'm not okay with it. I know iRacing isn't okay with it, and I wish that people would be a lot more respectful when it came down to stuff like this. The interesting thing is that when he had told everybody in the league what I had done, he sat there, he went over and he called it a bunch of different things. He called it a horrible move, and he's like, should have let the admins handle it. And it's like, well, the admins weren't doing anything, and you needed to get penalized. You needed something, and you weren't getting it. Does it make me the bad guy? I guess. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I love Casey and all that, and I completely understand why the removal from the team needed to happen, because he was trying to protect his brand. But at the same time, many times with that particular person, he would do things to other drivers on his team, and he would tell you, do nothing. But yeah, and to leave the admins alone. But then things like that would continue, and it was always a problem, and it would never get dealt with. And it got very tiring very fast. Yeah. So that's what happened. I knew this wasn't going to make me look very good. I completely get it. I'm fine with it. I'm not one that cares a lot about people's opinions of me. I tend to be very thick-skinned about stuff like that. My problem is when people take things too far and want to attack me personally, or anybody else really personally. I'm not okay with that. I think bullying is not okay. Whether it's on iRacing, in a video game, or just in life in general. I've never been okay with it. We've had enough of that going on in this world. Since the last guy was the president, that really seemed to become a problem. And I'm just doing my part to make sure that it stops with anybody that's around me. I don't know what's going to happen to YouTube. I don't. But I have a feeling that it's going to be a little while before I figure out my next steps on it. Maybe I will finally start to do more endurance racing, but time-wise, it's just not there for me right now. But we'll kind of see what happens. love everybody that watches the channel, and I wish everybody the best. And we'll wait and we'll see what the future brings. Catch you later, guys.